So we have a lot of books on our physical TBR, so we're gonna try and get through them with this video. Again, this is why I love to do the advent calendar with like book titles, because it forces me to read books that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards, like in the moment, even though I really want to read them. You know what I mean? I think I can do this. Oh! Whoa! Good catch by me. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. I say this in the beginning of every one of these videos, but welcome to one of the most exciting videos for me to film. My September TBR. I didn't do one for August because I was in Thailand. It was a whole thing. I cannot believe it is already September. Like, we are in fall. September, October, November are the fall months. So this is the official start to fall, and that's insane for me to say. I feel like it was just January and I was saying we're gonna be using an advent calendar even though it's not Christmas. This is going to be advent calendar, random number generator, and TBR prompts. Choose my September TBR. Basically, the way that this works is I have this advent calendar right here. It is a little bit like folded because I quite literally do not have any other place for these books. Like, I have this shelf, I have this shelf, I have books piled up to here on this shelf, books piled on top of this shelf, and books stacked on top of each other, books in front of each other. Like, I have books everywhere. I don't have the space to put these books, so they're just gonna hang out here. Our advent calendar is gonna be a little bit slanted. Basically, the way this works, there is numbers 1 to 24 on this advent calendar. I did a lot more books than I did TBR prompts this time. I was so excited to be picking these books because we're in the fall time. It is heavy on the dark romance, witchy books, fantasy books, just like overall fall feeling books. And then there are also maybe like 6 prompts that are all fall themed. That is what's in here. The way that we do this is I use my phone. We go on a random number wheel and we spin from 1 to 24, whatever number we get. That's the drawer I pull, and whatever's in there is gonna be added to our TBR. We are gonna do 8 books as usual. This is gonna be, look, I say this all the time. I say it a lot. I'm gonna try and finish the entire September TBR. Or at least get to read like 80% of it, because I don't think I have read more than 50% of a TBR, and that was once. I need to read at least 80%. That's my goal here. Hopefully it gives us some good luck. We're gonna screen record and we're just gonna start picking our TBR. I am so excited for the fall books. Usually it tends to stick around like here and the middle row. Oh, what did I just say? Middle row. 14, that is this drawer. And I feel like we're finally starting to get back in season. These are obviously Christmas themed advent calendar. So we're finally getting to the Christmas season, which is crazy. Oh, okay. The Love of My Afterlife is our first book title. That is here. This book has been getting so much coverage over the past couple of months. It like blew up. I got it before it started getting super popular. Not to be like that girl, but I actually did. Just because I saw it in Target and it looked really good. The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. A recently deceased woman meets the love of her life in like the waiting room of the afterlife, essentially. Someone runs in and they're like, wait, there's been a mistake. This guy's not supposed to be dead. So that love of her life then gets sent back to Earth. And then she's like, what the heck? I spent my whole entire living life trying to meet the love of my life, and I met him in the waiting room of the afterlife, and now he's back on Earth. Something happens where she gets 10 days, I think is the number, back on Earth to find the guy. I don't know what happens after that. That is where I'm gonna leave it. I don't know what the ending is gonna be, obviously, but it just seems so interesting. It also seems very spooky fall type of vibes, which is probably why they put it out around this time. But I am very, very, very excited for this. So we're gonna put that one on there. Whoa, good catch by me. Now we're gonna hide that and pick our next one. I'm telling you, if it's gonna be in this middle row, I'm calling it. I'm calling it that it's gonna be in this middle row. Oh, okay, I was wrong. We got 3. So here's drawer number 3. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, I see it through it. Into the dark! Okay, you guys, I understand this has been on my TBR for like 4 months in a row. It just always keeps getting picked. So clearly, that's a sign, and it's at the very bottom of this massive pile. Who thinks I can do this? Oh, okay, the stack exact same, but I dropped our book. Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, the most recent release of the Magnolia Parks universe, and the last book in Magnolia and BJ's perspective. I think I have a video of me reading every single book in Magnolia Parks and also Daisy Hates somewhere on my channel. I'll put them below. This series means so much to me, and I think the reason that I have been pushing it off is because I simply don't want Magnolia and BJ's story to end. A, I know what this is going to be about because of the way that the last book ended, and I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for that. B, I don't want Magnolia and BJ's perspective to end. Like, I just don't. But I think it's time. This is a thick book too. It's like over 700 pages. It's a thick book, but I think it's time to read Miss Jessa Hastings' Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Also, look how beautiful this cover is. I say this every time the Magnolia books are on screen, but the cover is just gorgeous. Oh my god. This says, as Magnolia and BJ's love story hurtles to its inevitably dramatic conclusion, these two will finally learn whether they'll actually be together forever or die trying. I'm not ready for this book, but I am so ready for this book at the same time. So we are adding it on, and mark my words, we are reading it this month. You can hold me to that. If I read any book on this TBR, it will be Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Okay? Calling it right now. I need to do it. I just need to bite the bullet. I need to do it. And it just has to be done. Okay, 12. What did I say? Middle row. Here's 12. Okay, we have a prompt. Book with orange. That's all I got. So now we get to go through my extensive TBR and find a book with orange on the cover. Okay. You know, orange, obviously, because fall time. I didn't know that orange books. Oh! I think this is like a yellow orange, but I'm counting it. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This book is another book that I literally bought on my Kindle, and I also have the physical book. And I think I read the first couple pages, but I just like put it down because there were other books that I was reading at the time, and I just wanted to read them a little bit more at the time, and I wasn't super invested in the story yet. I have been really wanting to get back into it and read it again, so we're gonna add this one to our TBR. This girl, Clementine, she moves into her, I think, late aunt's apartment. Then she comes home one day, and there's a man in her apartment, and she's like, what are you doing here? This is my apartment. And then he's like, no, this is actually my apartment. What are you doing here? Turns out he is from 7 years in the past. This apartment is on some weird time-space continuum line where their realities are crossing. So it's like a time travel romance. I love that idea. I love it so much. And I just heard that this book was so amazing in the way that it was written, the quotes, the prose, just everything about this was beautiful, and also the love story. I also just turned to a chapter when I was just flipping through it, and it was called All Too Well, which reminded me of Taylor Swift's, of course, one of my favorite songs, All Too Well 10-minute version. So that's another sign. I need to put it on here. I need to read it. So we're adding that as our third book. This is stacking up to be a very good TBR. We have 5 more books to choose. 7. Here is 7. Alright, we have another prompt. Set in the fall. Of course, very atmospheric. I love reading atmospheric books. There are some really good ones, but I don't know if I have them physically. I could think of a bunch of books that are set in the fall time. I just don't know of any that I have that are set in the fall time. This is hard, you guys. I have so many books. Oh my goodness! Stay. Okay, I think, even though it doesn't overtly say fall, I'm gonna use context clues and say Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. That took way longer than I thought it was gonna take. It's about a study abroad in London. And I feel like study abroad takes place at the beginning of the year, right? I studied abroad in London. I went during the fall time. That's when it started. I'm gonna say this book, and if it turns out to be wrong, we might have to change this. Like I said, this girl studies abroad. It seems like it's like a little bit of a New Girl situation where she hasn't met her roommates yet, but they all have names that can go for either a boy or a girl. So she just assumes they're girls. Turns out they're all boys. So now she is rooming in London for a semester with all boys. I think there's a love triangle. And also she has a rock star father. That is what this book is about. I am excited for this one. I'm a little nervous because I've heard mixed reviews about this book. The reason I picked it up is because, again, I studied abroad in London and I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl did too. Perfect. I need to get it. So that's why I bought it. I did read the entire Off-Campus series by Alchemy and I really liked it. Well, I liked some of the books. It's relatively new, so I do have some high hopes. There's our girl abroad. I'm like iffy on that one, I feel. 17. I feel like Girl Abroad is a good book to listen to an audiobook, so maybe I'll do that. Okay. 17. The Gilded Cage. This is a book title. It's the second book in the Prison Healer trilogy. I read the first book, Prison Healer. It's in a video of mine, and it shocked. The ending, mouth dropped open, shocked the heck out of me. I did not see that twist coming, and now it made me feel so interested to continue the series and how they're gonna start this book, just because it just opened up a whole can of worms. So I feel like this book is gonna be so good. Kiva is a survivor of a death prison, basically, and she was a healer in that death prison. I'm not gonna tell you too much because I don't want to spoil the first book because it is the second book in the series, but basically something was revealed at the very end of the book that's going to change the whole point of view or trajectory, I don't know what the right word is, of this book. I feel like it's more like a darker fantasy book because it has some like darker themes in here, but I feel like that's perfect for fall time. Like that just looks like a fall book to me. You know what I mean? It just looks like it's giving all the fall vibes. If you don't know, fantasy is actually my comfort genre. It is the genre that I started off my reading journey with when I was so young. I am excited to have a fantasy book. 10. Again, middle row. I'm telling you, this spinner prefers the middle row. A book title, One Dark Window. Another book that has made its rounds on my TBR for the past few months, but I did say in that going through my entire physical TBR video that I am saving this one for fall time. So we're gonna get it read. We're gonna do it. Again, this is why I love to do the advent calendar with like book titles, because it forces me to read books that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards like in the moment, even though I really want to read them, you know what I mean? And that is a good example of this book. It is another fantasy book. It's a duology, completed duology. It is about Espeth and she needs a monster, and basically I think she goes on this quest to find these cards, and the magic system, I think from what I remember reading about it, the magic system is based on cards. So if you find the card, you have that power, I think, and she has to banish this like dark cloud smoke thing. Is like something that's taking over her village, and she needs to find the cards to banish it. Again, just looks like a fall book. That is why I added it onto this TBR. I'm excited. I just finished 3 series, so I am ready to start another series. I wanted to really get through some of my series before starting another one, but now we can. I got through 3 of them in a recent video. Okay, 16. 5 Survive, our first thriller / mystery. Truthfully, I don't know the difference between a thriller and a mystery by Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and that is a trilogy that I loved so much. I read a few years ago. It was so addicting. I think it just became a Netflix series, and I started watching. I need to finish watching that. But this is one of her newer books. There are 6 friends that are stuck, I think, in a car, and only 5 can come out alive, I'm pretty sure. It's all told within the span of one 8-hour night. Like, you know, there's breaks in the book of the hours and what happens each hour. I hear that it's super fast-paced, it's super addictive, very good mystery thriller, and I don't know what it is about this, but when it came out, I wanted to read it so bad. I went out and bought the paperback immediately when the paperback came out. But it's like, I haven't read it, and I don't know why. Because all of these books, I feel like I was so excited to get, and I just didn't pick it up after they went on my shelves. I'm excited to add a little thriller on to our TBR. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, one more book. This is our last book. That went by super fast. 19. Here's number 19. Okay. I think it's a book title because it's small. What is it? Whoop, upside down. Yes, I really wanted to read this book, The Coven. That is actually right here. And what's exciting is it has these beautiful sprayed edges. Like, are you kidding me? Yes, that is why I bought it. But I recently got this book. And it's the start of either series or duology. The Coven, of course. That is why I added it to this TBR advent calendar. A very fall time book. Honestly, I don't even know what this book is about. I just saw the cover and I was like, you need to come home with me. You need to be a book on my fall TBR, you know? So it seems like an enemies to lovers. It's between a witch and a vessel. I kind of don't want to read you the rest of the summary because I kind of want to be surprised going into it. And it is a shorter book, like it's thin. So I feel like we can get through it pretty easily. And it's perfect for fall. So I'm very excited that we added this one to our TBR. This is our completed September TBR. Let's go through our books one more time. So we have The Coven, which is a book title the advent calendar chose for us. 5 Survive, Thriller, another book title that the advent calendar chose for us. One Dark Window, a dark fantasy that I feel like is going to be literally perfect when the weather gets cooler. Then we have The Gilded Cage, the second book in the Prison Healer trilogy, so a fantasy. Girl Abroad. Just like, I feel like you needed a fun, fluffy romance in here. We have some pretty heavy books, so I feel like it's good to have a fun, fluffy romance. We have The 7-Year Slip, another romance. Heard it's not that fluffy though. Heard it's pretty deep. Heard it's really good, so I'm excited. Magnolia Parks, Into the Dark. Again, if any book gets read, it's gonna be this one. I promise you. If any book on this TBR gets read. And the goal is gonna be to read all of them, at least 80%, but Magnolia Parks is definitely gonna be one of them. And then we have Love of My Afterlife, which is exciting because it's a new release and it's a book that's been blowing up recently, so I can be in on the hype now. That is our completed September TBR. I feel like we really nailed it on the fall vibes. Like, it's just, this is completely giving fall to me. I'm really excited. I am definitely gonna have these books in a video in the September, October months. And I'm just so excited to read all of these. And we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna get at least 80% done. I'm putting it out into the universe right now. That is gonna be it for our September TBR. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!